Let's get more now on tomorrow's autumn statement. The Chief Secretary to the Treasury has described the announcement as the government's last big economic event and blamed lower than expected tax receipts for the coalition's failure to reduce the deficit by as much as it had hoped. We can speak now to Dr. Eamonn Butler, who's an economist and director of the free market think tank, the Adam Smith Institute. Dr. Butler, can we begin with the relatively good news for the government, which is the question of growth? I mean, does that side of the economy seem to be doing rather well, and is that something that you expect the Chancellor will trumpet tomorrow?
Oh yes, definitely. We have some of the highest growth in the world, and certainly much higher than the Eurozone and Europe in general. So yes, of course he's going to be triumphing that, but the question is whether that's sustainable, and there's quite a number of people who think that it's not.
And in terms of the bad news, that is obviously the deficit, and everybody will, from the Labour benches, will try to hang that albatross around his neck, because that is the thing that George Osborne has said was the centre of his policy. Yes, and the deficit, the shortfall in spending over taxation this year is, so far this year, it's 64 billion. Last year at this point it was only 61 billion. And the government is supposed to be bringing this down, but it does seem to be going up. So that is a problem, and part of it is, as you say, that we have had an economic recovery, but much of the extra employment has come from people who don't pay tax, or they've been taken out of tax by the new higher tax threshold. So the Chancellor isn't getting as much revenue in as he would hope, and the only thing that he can do there is, in the short term at least, is to borrow more. Well, I mean, this is obviously the area of great political contention, and the Adam Smith Institute usually got very clear views on this. But if you cut taxes and take people out of taxation at the lower end, and at the same time your tax receipts are going down, that's surely not a coincidence, is it?
Well, of course this happens, but the point is that the effects on growth should be absolutely enormous if we can take people off benefits and get them into work, and we do that by making work more attractive, because instead of paying taxes at very low rates, I mean, it used to be from £5,000 onwards you would be paying tax. Now that's £10,500 that's going up to. So a lot of people will find themselves better off in work than on benefits. But it takes time for these things to work through into the financial system, and by the time it takes another year before the receipts are all in. So it's a bit of a stopgap problem that the Chancellor's got this autumn.
And just a final thought, I mean, about autumn statements in general. You've seen them come and go. This is one 6 months before a general election. Nobody's got a clue how that's going to turn out. Do you think autumn statements are actually helpful to sensible managing of the economy, given that people expect, if not a rabbit out of the hat, they get, you know, oh, we're going to spend this on certain flood defences in your area, you lucky people, and there's going to be a new road in your area. I mean, do they actually, in the long term, are they useful for the economy or simply political acts?
Well, I think we have a very strange system where in the autumn we decide what we're going to spend, and then it is in March or April at the budget that we then decide how we're going to pay for it. Usually, most families would try and do that the other way around, that you see what you've got to spend first and then decide how to spend it. So, but this is politics, so there you are. And I think certainly budgets, as we have seen in the past, have always been very great political occasions, and the autumn statement is becoming much more of a political occasion. So there will be lots of rabbits out of the hat, and I'm sure there will be lots of little increases in taxes that nobody will even notice until weeks or months later.
Interesting prediction. Dr. Butler, thanks very much for talking to me. Eamonn Butler there.